Hello and welcome to Author Talk with me, LG Thompson. Now, the concept behind Author Talk is that on Tuesdays I'll be answering the kind of questions that authors very often get asked by readers, and on Fridays I'll be sharing some of my favourite books with you. Today is book day and I'm going to be discussing film adaptations. But before we move on to that, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this, you'll be a book lover, a reader, and probably at some point you'll have been to the cinema to watch an adaptation of one of your favourite books, only to experience what could be described as extreme and devastating disappointment. It's happened to us all. I don't want to focus on those negative experiences. Like on Author Talk, I want to talk about the really good adaptations. Yes! The author I'm going to discuss today is James M. Cain. James M. Cain is one of my favourite authors. He was born in 1891 and died in 1977 and was a master of hard-boiled fiction. Typically, I would have read the book before I watched the film, but in the case of Cain's work, I saw the films on television when I was a kid, long before I read the books, long before I knew James M. Cain existed. These were the films that I would watch late night on my own or in the living room on a Sunday afternoon. Always seemed to be on my own, absolutely lapped them up. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Double Indemnity. And the reason I want to talk about this one first is because this is one of my favourite books of all time. Absolutely love it. If I was, your favourite books come and go. You've got the ones that are always hovering there all the time. I think this would always be in my top 10. It would probably always be in my top 5, and it would mostly be in my top 3, depending on the mood. It was written or published in 1936, and the film was made in 1944. It was directed by Billy Wilder, and Raymond Chandler was brought in to adapt the screenplay from Cain's novel. Fred MacMurray plays the main character, Walter Neff. Barbara Stanwyck plays Philip Dietrichson. Oh, she is just such an amazing, I said that James M. Cain wrote hard-boiled books. Well, she is as hard-boiled a character as they come, absolutely divine. And Edward G. Robinson plays Barton Keyes. It's an absolutely fabulous film. A lot of Cain's dialogue was adapted for the film, but one of my favourite lines is, in fact, it's my favourite quote of all time, is in the film, and it originated in the book, and the line is, "Do I laugh now or wait until it gets funny?" There was quite a lot of changes made, but I think they were all for the better, probably. I mean, film is a different medium to a book, and changes do inevitably have to get made. I think in the case of this one, the changes were all good. There's a copy of my DVD just to show you how dedicated I am to the whole thing. I think the first one was the Postman always rings twice. You can see this is an old, it's got old British money on it there. What does it say? 2 and 6. That's old money before Britain moved to the decimal system. So I've obviously picked this up in a charity shop, and it's in pretty good nick. There's been a couple of film adaptations. In 1981, there was a version starring Jack Nicholson and Jessica Lange. I think it was fine, but the version that I'm talking about today is from 1946 and stars Lana Turner and John Garfield. Again, it had to be adapted. Changes had to be made for various reasons. You can look up the history and all of that. A lot of it was to do with the Hayes Law and what could be shown on the screen and about morality and all the rest of it. So in this case, the book's slightly more biting than the film, but the film is excellent. And the third book I'm going to mention today was probably the first film I saw that was adapted from a James M. Cain book, and it's Mildred Pierce. Yeah, the cover here from Mildred Pierce is a still taken from a mini-series starring Kate Winslet. I watched that, it was quite interesting, but for me, it doesn't have anything like the punch of the original film starring Joan Crawford. I mean, that's in a different class altogether. The film version was made in 1945 and starred Joan Crawford, and it's an absolute belter of a noir melodrama. I think it was Joan Crawford at her absolute height. She was absolutely fantastic in it. It's a dark, pacey film. Yeah, it's just melodrama, Sunday afternoon melodrama, absolutely fantastic. And a really good book also, slightly longer than the other two. So something that occurred to me while I was thinking about these three adaptations, Double Indemnity, The Postman Always Rings Twice, and Mildred Pierce. The three actresses that played the main parts in these films, Lana Turner starred with John Garfield in The Postman Always Rings Twice, Joan Crawford in Mildred Pierce, and Barbara Stanwyck in Double Indemnity. Oh my God, like right there, you have got the golden age of Hollywood. They've got everything like that you could ever want from a hard-boiled noir movie. And in the case of Mildred Pierce, a good dose of melodrama thrown in for good measure. So that's my recommendations today. I would recommend all of these films. I would recommend all of the books. James M. Cain is a master of hard-boiled fiction, and it will do you no harm to go seek these books out. Lana Turner, Joan Crawford, Barbara Stanwyck. Outstanding. So thank you for joining me in Author Talk today. I hope you'll go and seek out these books and these films, and I hope you enjoy them very much. Don't forget to like the film and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on Author Talk. Quintessential film noir, The Guardian.